What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It is Tuesday, November the 26th, fresh off Monday Night Raw, the go-home Monday Night Raw for Survivor Series. It's Survivor Series season. It's Thanksgiving week here in the good old US of A. Happy Thanksgiving to anybody over here on this side of the pond. I am the only one on this side of the pond on this show, which is interesting. Neither here nor there. Happy Tuesday. I'm Clark Taylor. I'll be your host today. We're going to break down all of last night's Raw. And we've got the rest of the usual suspects. Shad is not here, but get your twos up for Shadi anyway. He's not here because he's been moving, and we're stoked about that for him. But first and foremost, it's the original RC day. It's RC Tuesday. This is where it all started. So I've got to toss this one all the way out to Wales to my friend, host. Take it to the table. Chaos, what's going on, my friend?
What's good? What's good, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Yes, it is the original, the origin story, the RC Tuesdays, as you said, Clark. So yeah, happy to be here. And here to talk about Monday Night Raw, an excellent, enjoyable episode of Raw. And also on that note, a new episode of Take It to the Table is going to be dropping tomorrow with one of the guests is going to be actually on this panel today, as well as who's actually on the there. Oh yeah, Anthony and also returning to the table since WrestleMania 39, Kobe as well. So be sure to check that out. But yeah, let's get straight to it.
Kobe's first appearance since 39. That's wild. But by the way, speaking of, we're going to take it to the bank this time. Stay across the pond. Jordy is in the building as usual. How are you? Sweatband free today, but good to see you.
Absolutely. It's because you caught me off guard, bro. Like I'd say, I usually wear sweatbands for every show that you're on, so I hadn't got them prepped. I thought it was going to be Shad, but here we are. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have you. I was on a show with you on Saturday as well. It's nice to see you, Clark. Welcome to the Tuesday, obviously. And I feel like I need a Tuesday nickname now, because if there's RC Tuesdays and the Tuesday Night Delight, then what am I? You know,
Jordy
in the bank.
No,
Jordy in the bank.
He's bank holiday Tuesdays. It's a bank holiday every Tuesday if Jordy's on the show. Bank holiday.
Tom and Nick.
Yeah, Tom and Nick.
Here we go.
He's Tom and Nick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, are you Tom or Nick? Is it Tom and Nick, or is it Tom or Nick?
I can't even remember which one.
XR
yeah, can't even remember. One of them, Nick, maybe. I think Nick.
Probably Nick. I would lean towards Nick. I don't see you as a Tom, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, Thomas the Train, I was a big fan of, but
choo.
You know, choo. Right.
Tank Engine. What? Did they Americanize it? It's Tank Engine, not Thomas the Train.
Thomas the Train.
No,
it's Thomas the Tank Engine over here.
Yeah, technically, it is Thomas.
The blue fella.
He leads. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that's miles a lot.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, honestly, we didn't Americanize it. I just did on accident, so that's on me.
Fair play.
I can't even blame anyone else. I actually am the one that messed that one up. Now that we're saying it, let's talk about sunsets, though. And not the beautiful ones over the Pacific Ocean that you get right at the end of summer. Unfortunately, it's daylight savings still here, and the sun's going down at 5 o'clock, which really cuts my golf time down, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the new day. Is it the end of the new day? Has the sun set on the new day? Both Woods and Kofi, when it came to the promo part of this equation, nailed this. It felt so real. It felt like a legit argument between brothers, between siblings. It was so cool. I dug it. I like it. I think it is time, though. We're gonna see something, unless we see some sort of banding together with maybe a Big E or something else. It does seem like that sun is starting to peak below the horizon. Chaos, I'm going to start with you. Is the sun setting on the new day?
This is gonna get me a little bit emotional, man, because this segment was just beautiful. Obviously, it started off backstage. They're obviously promoting what's gonna happen next week, the 10-year anniversary, And then as soon as it went to both of them backstage, you see Kofi Kingston donning the Goku, and then you see Xavier Woods wearing the Goku black cosplay, and I was just like, he's fully going into it's one of them things, if you know moments, and it was absolutely amazing. They try and say they're on the same page, and then they somehow get squashed by the Alpha Babes. I don't call them the Alpha Academy. They call the Alpha Babes according to their shirt. Again, back to the bickering, and I literally was fearing the worst. I thought they were gonna it was all going to implode just a week before the anniversary, and maybe that might have been more compelling. But yeah, they bickered all the way till they went to the stage, backstage. It was all one take, which was even better. And the stingers, man, the stingers were absolutely crazy. The Lesnar line saying, he's he pissed it all away in 6 seconds, and obviously Kofi gave him the realness. He's the only one out of the whole group that hasn't won a singles championship. He screwed up the crown, and he screwed up all these opportunities. And it was. I literally thought they were gonna just do like some Def Jam fight for New York backstage fight, just absolute world star everywhere. But no, they held it together, and they said, they sarcastically said, look forward to next week. Is it going to be the end of the New Day? This might be a way to somehow bring back Big E. I think he's the only savior. He might try and calm the waters for maybe a week or two, and then he might just ultimately implode. Because Xavier Woods isn't leaning into wearing all this dark attire and dressing up as Goku Black for nothing. I think it is eventually going to implode. Big E is going to try to be the peacemaker. It might work for a couple of weeks, and then who knows? He might just implode all the way up on Raw 1 when it goes to Netflix, because they're stacking that show. But it was a great segment. Definitely one of the highlights, if not the highlight of the night. And I can't wait to see what happens next week, man. It is going to be tense as hell, but I'm here for it.
I couldn't agree more. And to your point, we talked about this kind of last week, Chaos. With the anniversary coming up, that felt like the right time. I do like how they dipped their toes in the water last night. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, ooh, no, it's too cold right this second. But you still had that passive aggressiveness, like you mentioned.
Yes, 100%.
Forward to next week, it was really quality storytelling, because it wasn't definitive, but it was enough of it was enough to bait you into being excited to see whatever happens with the New Day next week.
Yeah, 110%.
No matter what. And there's a few comments here. We got number one Superfly with hello. We've got breakup from Sean Ellis. Wow. And then he said Woods will be in the final judgment. I don't know about that. He said Woods makes a great heel. And then number one Superfly with, I think the New Day will indeed split up. I expect Big E to return, but Xavier puts Kofi through the TV and telling Big E, this is no longer the power of positivity. This is the power of negativity. I mean, that seems like a little bit too in your face, but I don't mind the idea of through a TV or, barbershop window per se, right? A little callback to HBK and Marty Jannetty and the Rockers. Who would that hurt? Nobody, I don't think.
No, 100%. But I do feel like if they do this split, this has to lead to an eventual title win for Xavier as a heel, because he could play a great heel, as is evidence right now. All I know is this whatever's going to happen next week is going to be a memorable moment. That's all I can say.
No doubt about it. I think it is one of those classic, you have to tune in. And so, Jordy, I'm going to ask you, we kind of broke down what happened this week. As far as next week's concerned, how do you see this thing going down? Oh, you're muted. It's okay. Curse of the mute button.
There we go. Right. Yeah. So it is tough, this one. You're right. It was a tough watch, but not in that it was bad. It was just, I don't know. It's like when you see two mates arguing with each other. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, oh lads, come on, just. But the thing is, they're both bringing up very valid points, and it was like a tennis match, man. Like Xavier would say something, and it's like, oh, he's taking it too far. And then Kofi came back with something. It's like, oh no, you've taken it too far. Then Xavier went up again, and it's like, it was just uncomfortable to watch in the best way possible. And I think the segment was good, and I think that started from the start because as soon as I found out they were against Alpha Academy or Alpha Babes, like you said, Chaos, then I was like, I don't care how good terms they seem like they're on right now, because if they lose this match, it's gonna explode. And at that point, I was like, maybe they'll win. Maybe they'll go into next week on a positive and it'll all explode next week. But so, like, I loved the segment right from the off. It wasn't just from like the little segment backstage before the match, and then the segment after. I think that's why it was so good, because it just ran so well into each other. I think Kofi slightly maybe messed up a little bit when he said to Xavier, "See you at the reunion," instead of "see you at the anniversary."
Oh, I didn't.
So, yeah, so because Xavier quickly corrected him and went, "Yeah, see you at the anniversary," and I thought, well, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the video package made it look like there was a lot of Big E in the video package, and then all of a sudden on the still graphic, it was just the two of them. I mean, look, if you're Big E, you've got to come and get involved, right? Like, you have to. You see two of your best friends, they're arguing, and like, surely he at that point has to be like, right, I need to go and speak to them. I need to try and get them back on the same page. I think that's what we're all looking forward to. I think the heel turn is probably going to be Xavier, and it's going to be great. And like you, Chaos, I hope he gets that singles title. I hope this leads to a good thing. I hope it's not just a bang and a fizzle out, because it's going to be a bang when the New Day break up. I just hope we play right after that. You know what I mean?
Not to Little League Baseball you hear, Jordy, but that is a good eye. That is a good eye when it comes to the slight slip on Reunion, right? There might be a not so small letter after D that has something to say next week. There's no doubt about that. And I think his role in this entire equation is interesting because you haven't seen any of it play out on TV. You've only seen it Woods and Kofi. What does he have to say is such a fascinating thing headed to next week. And I'm curious about it too. I'm really glad you pointed that out, because I did not even consider also there's a big difference between a reunion and an anniversary. Like, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Reunion implies everyone's there. Anniversary implies only a certain amount of people.
I mean, it makes sense. Like it like no matter what condition he's in, it's the anniversary of the New Day. You have to have him there regardless, whether it's via satellite or whatnot. Biggie,
he's on every pre-show, so we know he's a bit like, we know he's around and he's okay and he's well enough to be on a microphone. So I mean, would that be the Xavier heel turn if he did something to Big E? You know, like if he pushed Big E over and everyone knows that Big E's injured, like he's fragile at the minute. If he did something to Big E, never mind Kofi, I think that would make everyone go, whoa, wait, hold up now, Xavier. Like, we've got you back a bit. But
you know what? I like that.
I'm with you.
Good shout. Yeah,
that is a really good idea. Well, because what's lower than that too? If you really
Big
want
E
to
could take Kofi's side as well and be like, "Look, I just think you need to get out of this headspace that you're in, Xavier. Everything's a bit negative." And he's like, "No, I can't believe that you're turning on me as well." And then actually does something to Big E. And then, you know, well, they love doing it at the minute, rushing him off in an ambulance. It might be a bit on the nose with Big E, you know, but I don't know. Would be interesting.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. It is not a bad idea, Jordy. I'm actually all over that, and hadn't even considered the idea of potentially, if anybody you would trust to get physical with Big E, it would be Woods or Kofi. Right? And so that is why it also feels like it's a possibility. To your point, right? Like, it may be too on the nose, like, given Big E's injury and what we know about it and whatnot. But if he's able to do it, and anybody you would trust to, you know,
could he be the start of a comeback as well? You never know. Like, it could, because Big E's got the green light, and he's actually said he can wrestle again. So they're going to do an angle where Xavier injures him, and then Big E has an eventual comeback and takes out Xavier and gets revenge on him. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm hoping for if they do go down that angle.
That would be absolutely delightful. I'm all over that. I love that idea, Jordy. And this is like twice this week. You mentioned we were on a show earlier this week. This is twice this week. You pointed out something that I missed. and immediately like opened my eyes. I got to give you credit. It is money when it comes to that. Let's talk about another subject though that is really fascinating to me, because we brought back the PLE pay-per-view, whatever you'd like to call it, Bad Blood, earlier this year. But I'll tell you one thing, Damian Priest brought back Mind Games as well when it comes to this rivalry with Gunther. I am really, really blown away by the idea that the babyface is getting under his skin and has played mind games and gotten in Gunther's head from, there are moments where Gunther has gotten the best of Damian Priest in this storyline so far. But of late, Priest seems to be one step ahead strategically, and it's hard to get to a place where you're still excited about the match and the babyface is the one in that spot. This is the perfect scenario. Finally, someone convinced me that they can beat Gunther. And that's why I'm so impressed with what Priest has done in this storyline. At first, I was like, where are we going with this? I did not like it. I didn't like the idea of Priest, pulling the wool over Gunther's eyes and being a step ahead at times. I do now. I get it now. And I'm excited for this match for sure. Chaos, are you in agreement on that? And did you enjoy some of the mind games last night?
Yeah, now this I agree. I wasn't sure where they were going to go with this, because obviously for the longest time we've known Gunther as the unstoppable force and the literal ring general, and just someone that everyone fears. And then this is the most I've ever seen him say very little. His plans backfire on him. And yeah, just nothing's going his way. And it's just not a random character shift. I'm glad they actually mentioned it last night, where they said that ever since Gunther lost to Cody humbled him. The match, Cody won clean, and he can't obviously go around and saying that he's the crown jewel champion, and everything that comes with that title. And yeah, that really, really messed him up. So it validates the way he's thinking right now, because obviously Damian Priest did give him a fight when they fought at SummerSlam, and yeah, he could be a very viable threat. And yeah, like Gunther is literally looking himself in the mirror saying, "Can I do this? I'm not sure." And he's already put Kaiser, he hasn't kicked him out of the group, but he's saying, "Go on your own now." He's all on his own. He hasn't got nobody right now. This, whatever happens on Survivor Series, he's all on his own. So he has to win it clean, or do anything by any means necessary to win, to retain his title. I still stand by my prediction. Is Damian Priest going to win? No, but I do feel like when Gunther wins this is when his ego will come back and be like, "See, I told you, I actually got it. Like, I'm not the one to mess with." But yeah, it's good mind games. Damian Priest is the perfect candidate to do it, and yeah, it's gonna be a bomb burner, man. But yeah, I'm liking the character, because I thought they were really nerfing Gunther doing this, but there's actual reason behind it, and it's believable, So I think he just needs to prove it to himself on Saturday, to say that, yeah, I am still the ring general, the world heavyweight champion. And then yeah, that's when he's just gonna run his mouth once again. So yeah, I'm loving it.
I think it's a great call. Yeah. And I'm the same way. It was like the arc. It was like, no,
yeah.
Actually, I dig this. I mean, yeah, in the words of Mobb Deep, right? Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. He's shook. Gunther is shook. There's no doubt about it. And I like that. But to your point, he gets this victory as the heel that he is, and it's right back to the giant ego. I know how great I am. I'm the ring general, dominance. And I think it's a cool change of pace, and it's cool to show that Gunther is not just capable of being the bell-to-bell ring general that he is, being the unbelievable dominant force that he is, but he's got character depth as well.
Yeah, and that's another thing as well, because I think it's good that they're changing it, because eventually you will get tired of him just saying, he's street trash and your father ain't crap, all this kind of stuff. He's done that for quite a numerous amount of feuds he's been in. So this is a nice change of pace. It's
And
refreshing.
they actually played on it as well, didn't they? Like they actually, like Damien actually turned to him and said, "Look, Gunther, stop right there. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say I'm street trash. You're gonna say I'm not worth it. Blah 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 blah." And it's like to actually like bang it on the nose. So it's like, I mean, I was thinking it as he was about to say it. I was like, "Are we really gonna do this again?" And then Damien stopped it and kind of stopped him for me, and I was like, "Oh, this is good. I like this." Yeah, I agree. I think I wouldn't mind Priest winning it, but that's just me. I see why Gunther is probably going to win it, in all honesty. I just don't think Priest got long enough of a reign. Yeah. That's all I think.
Yeah, it is interesting being the former champion that he is, that he's right back in the title picture here. And it's funny because you mentioned the shorter reign. I think the storytelling's been better on this end of the equation than it was, and I wouldn't have guessed that. I would not have guessed that a few weeks ago.
I think he's actually not a better face than he is a heel, because I do think he's probably better as a heel overall. But I think he's being a better face, and people have taken to him more than they thought that he would, more than they thought the crowd would. With the documentary that came out about him and stuff, I think that turned a lot of people on his side because you got to see that vulnerable side of him. So I agree, and I think that may have been a part of it. He was reigning when he was part of the Judgment Day, and it was just all kind of faded into that same image. Whereas I feel like if he got it back now, he would stand as Damian Priest as champion, you know, and not a cash in too. I guess maybe it's that.
Even further, when you see the documentary and you learn about his backstory as well. I mean, Punishment Martinez, the weight loss.
You can't not love him.
Things that went into how could there's nothing about his real life story that doesn't scream babyface. Doesn't mean he can't play a great heel. We've seen him do it, but there's nothing about who Damian Priest is as a person to this stage that isn't babyface. And to your earlier point about, you know, him being a step ahead of Gunther, basically on just the little things like that, right? I know what you're gonna say, right? I've got you scouted. Like,
and the low blow, I love that. It's like, yes, you want a street fight, you called it yourself. I'm street trash, bro. I will low blow you. I don't care. Like,
you call me street, you're gonna get street, right? Like that, and I loved that out of Damian Priest. It was one of the more exciting things I think I've seen in a long time when it comes to this world title picture, and that's not a knock on the way the world title has been navigated to this point. It's actually a compliment on just how good I think what Priest and Gunther have done this second time around is. I'm more excited for the rematch than I think I was for the initial matchup, the initial rivalry, and that isn't always the case. It's a difficult water to navigate. Speaking of waters to navigate, let's talk really quickly about our friends over at Progress Wrestling. If you haven't already checked out Demand Progress Plus, we know if you're watching the show, you're a wrestling fan. So you should check it out. It's one of the best tape libraries in the world. Some of the highest quality wrestling you'll ever see. And not only that, you're going to get the current product as well as blasts from the past. The whole library, you're going to get all of your favorites, where many got their start, where many cut their teeth in the wrestling business. This is worth every dollar, and we're going to save you some money on this one. Use this code WatchProgress1. You're going to get 50% off your first month on Demand Progress Plus. That's the home of Progress Defy and many other promotions. Check that out. I'm going to give you the code one more time. That's WatchProgress1. It's 50% off your first month. That's 1/2 for my friends that prefer fractions over decimals. But while we're at it, let's stick back on Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about the tag team titles. Nobody in the world is more critical of tag team wrestling in the current state of it than me right here. How many title defenses have we gotten from the Judgment Day? Not enough. We did get one last night, though, against the War Raiders, and I'm cool with it. The psychology added up. It's fine. It was a title defense, but we want more. We want more. We want more. That's all I'm asking for. I want more tag team rivalries. I want more depth in the division where it feels like there are multiple challengers and not just one at a time. that rises to the occasion once the next one gets knocked off the mountaintop. I don't want that anymore. Build the division, do it properly, and things like this, where the tag champs in a high quality wrestling match defend against a high quality tag team in the War Raiders, is a start. So I'm not going to overly complain about it, but Jordy, I'm going to go straight to you when it comes to this. State of tag team wrestling has been funky, at least in my eyes. I'm not sure about in yours, but did you enjoy this match? And then the future of the tag titles, especially considering we have 2 sets of them in the WWE right now. We have one on Raw and we have one on SmackDown. Do you see the future being building a division on one roster, both rosters, unifying the belts? How do we figure this out? How do we make it right?
Oh, I don't know. If I knew the answer, I'd be in touch with Triple H. But I mean, I think a lot of it does stem from, we all wanted the belts to be split. They were unified. And now when I actually look at how Jade and Bianca are getting booked across the 2 divisions, because the women's tag belts obviously run on both brands, it's better. It is better right now. I stand by that the belts should be split, but not if you're going to book it like this, not if they're not going to defend them. And I agree, though, it's a start. I'm not overly thrilled about the way the Motor City Machine Guns just kind of came in second week, won the titles. I've got nothing against them. I think they're fantastic, and I think they can do a lot for the tag division within WWE. I just wanted a bit, sometimes it's not the destiny, it's not the end of the story. You want the story. And I wanted to see it play out for maybe a couple more weeks. So when I actually saw him lift that belt, because as soon as I saw him walk down the ramp, I knew they were destined for them titles. And I think the reason I'm talking about that is that might be the situation that we're in with the War Raiders, and that's why I don't mind that they didn't win last night. I think they will come back around, and I think they will dethrone them. Maybe, I don't know, do they still do Vikings rules matches? But maybe in some kind of no DQ match where, or if the Judgment Day are banned from ringside or something like that, because call me old fashioned, but I mean, when you're in a faction and you have them extra 2-3 numbers at your disposal when you're defending the belts, they should come and help. Like that is what a heel faction does. That is how they should be booked. But my issue isn't with equality in that sense of when Finn and JD wrestle, I think they are good. It really is the quantity that's the issue here. And I agree. I just hope it's a step in the right direction from here. I do, like I say, I think the War Raiders will be tag champions probably within the next couple of months. But yeah, hopefully better things from here on out.
Yeah, I'm in agreement, man. And not to overly agree, but it's just like the War Raiders got built up, and they're the logical challengers. They won the number 1 contenders match. They did all the right things. They're the logical number 1 contenders. Who would be the number 2 contender? That's where I have an issue, right? Right this second, who is it? I don't know.
That was my issue with Jade and Bianca's initial run as tag champs. I thought they were just rolling over everyone. It didn't look like anybody was challenging them, and that doesn't build a division. That just makes the division look a bit crap. Whereas now, I feel like when Jade and Bianca do drop them belts, a division has been built around it, where I think I've seen people go the distance with them, have good matches with them, to think that's anyone's game once them belts are dropped. But I don't think I can say the same for the men's on SmackDown and Raw. Maybe on SmackDown now, to be fair, there's DIY, there's Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, Bloodline.
DIY.
There's more. There is more. But I mean, like I say, I grew up in the Attitude Era, The tag team matches were some of the most fun things on the card. It was the Hardys, It was Edge and Christian.
Oh dear.
Heck, by the way, to his point, I'm like,
remember the last time we were in that position.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, there's a little freeze up there, but either way, I'm with you. Think about the headbangers and random teams like that. Like, we're a factor. Go ahead, Chaos.
No, I was just gonna say, I totally agree with you regarding the tag team situation. However, I must say, Finn Balor, he's a little see you next Tuesday. You see what the segment that he did there before the matches, he was like obviously rallying up the crew, but if you saw his hand gestures, he was just like, we are one big family, we are one big successful family. So like he's something.
That's what he said, didn't he? He was like, there's no leaders, but when you do as I say, we win. Like,
I'm not the leader, but I might be the leader.
Successful. He was when he said successful, he was pointed to himself.
Yeah.
He did that on purpose. He did that on purpose. So he's definitely he doesn't care for he doesn't care for Judgment Day. Right there, he's gonna, as soon as there's gonna be I think there's gonna be a one episode where they just lose everything. Probably get Survivor Series. I don't know, whatever. But they're gonna lose everything, and he's just gonna leave them on the lurch. Because he's for himself, and that's Prince Finn for you. But that's what I just wanted to say that.
To your point, by the way, it is interesting. It does seem like quite a few of the members of Judgment Day kind of just bounce.
Finn fed Dom and Carlito to the War Raiders like cattle to the slaughter. Like,
look at Rhea Ripley. If you look at whoever the biggest star is in the Judgment Day, whether it be Ripley or Priest or Edge or whatever, at a certain time they're probably going to leave.
This was what I said, man. I said it at the time. Finn was saying, "Oh, it's because you tried to be the leader." It's like, nah, bro. It's because they were doing better than you. They were world champions, and you have an issue with that. Like,
quick question. This is a slight tangent. Out of the two promotions, who has been the biggest nerfed character? Rodriguez or Camille Brickhouse? Who's been nerfed the worst? It just popped in my head.
Oh, that might be a tie, man. I have the same complaints about both. That's a really hard question, by the way, Chaos. It's a good one too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give
I'd need to do some research.
By a skosh. Just
what's everyone saying in the comments?
I'm gonna give let me check it here. Camille, DC Warlord. So I'm gonna go Camille personally. Because I think Raquel, coming off the injury that she came off of initially, had to sort of be eased back in.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that's a little like too inside baseball there, right? I'm going like way backstage, like making an excuse for her. But at the same time, coming off of the injury that she did and what she had to go through to make her way back, easing her back in made some sense. And that's why some of the being nerfed came into play. Whereas Camille has been healthy and supposed to be the muscle and has really just taken the brunt of a lot of beatings that her partner probably was the one that was inclined to take.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and that's where I would lean Camille slightly. What about you, Jordy?
I agree. Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with you purely because as well, Raquel can probably be attributed to injuring Rhea Ripley and stuff like that. Like, she's been, I don't know what's gone on with Jade and stuff. We're going to talk about that next, but I can, like Raquel's, if she came in and she hit someone with a big boot, you know what I mean? So I guess in terms of being the muscle, I would probably say Raquel's a little bit better.
Fair enough.
Hopefully the best is yet to come, though.
Well, I mean, it does feel a little bit like they're doing diet Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels with Liv Raquel, essentially, if you really think about it. But let's move on to our final topic of the evening, as well as the main event of the evening or afternoon or morning, depending on where you're listening to this. But we've got Bianca Belair against NXT. Woof. That was bad. I whiffed that one. Versus Nia Jax, world champion, our WWE champion. I apologize. WWE also has NXT though, so you could see, I mean, whatever. You knew what I meant. It's Nia Jax against Bianca Belair in a non-title match. I have some complaints here now that I've made fun of myself for that earlier botch. This has always bothered me. I get it. This is about War Games advantage. It's not about the title. But you could have picked anybody on the team of 5 and not the champion to lose. If the champion's going to lose a match, the title should be on the line. You don't have non-title fights in combat sports. Doesn't make sense.
My rebuttal, ain't there team captains in War Games matches?
Yes.
Or have they dropped that now?
Sure, maybe. I don't know. Didn't sound like that.
I think if there were, the SmackDown ones would be Roman and Solo, and they ain't fighting.
That is true.
They're not fighting for the. It's Jacob and Jay, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Roman ain't fighting on SmackDown. That's for damn sure.
Nah,
So,
no
like,
chance. Roman and Solo
Yeah,
isn't going on a
exactly.
SmackDown. I'm surprised Jay and Jacob is, to be
That's way
honest.
too big of a trek.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, 100%.
No, but that's my one issue there. I can't stand to see a champion lose with the title not on the line. And here's another thing that's funky, but I actually like this one. Talk about muddying some waters. Everybody unsure about what happened with Jade on Friday. Bailey's a suspect. Everyone's a suspect, really, at this stage, right? I said the other day, I don't think it's going to be who we most expect or who we least expect. I think it's going to be who we most medium expect. That's who it is. I don't know who that is yet because
Naomi.
I decided which is which, but I'm just saying, I think it will be who we most medium suspect. That's who did it. Bailey's a possibility, but she's starting to feel like most suspect, not medium. So I don't know. That throws my entire theory off. Bailey new haircut. I love. The work was great. There's almost nothing more heelish than cheating to win. And that's what they just did. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
Bailey assists Bianca Belair. Is this a tease for something this weekend's chaos? Or am I reading too much into it?
Yeah, I think you're reading too much into it. I don't think we're going to find out who took out Jade for a while. Well, it depends on when she's going to come back, or when they finally gain the CCTV footage, and then we're going to see it randomly show up on the Titantron, as they've always been done. Very grainy, and then you have to go and enhance it, and then you just clearly shows who it is. But going to the match. Let me just start the match. I think the match was fine for what it was. Typical Raw main event. And yeah, it did what it needed to do. I feel like I see what you're getting at. Like it's you're making the champion look weak. But yeah, I feel like Nia has built enough momentum for anyone to really raise an eyebrow as much. I haven't really seen that much discourse online to say that she's been looked stupid. So yeah, I think she's in that place where whether you win or lose, you're not going to lose your momentum. So I think that's why I don't think it didn't really harm her as much. But yeah, Bailey helped Bianca, and as much as it's been going on for months that she does not rate her. But yeah, she's starting nodding her head, and I don't know if she's gonna be the fifth member. I kind of hope it's someone else. But yeah, it was fine for what it was. Who I think that's going to be who I think is gonna be the one that attacked Jade. You're gonna have to watch Take It to the Table, as we're gonna be discussing it at the table.
Ooh, as well. Okay, I love the tease there. Yeah, don't say it here. Go watch Take It to the Table. Jordy, though, unless you said it also on Take It to the Table, do actually make your pick here.
Well, I'll let you into a little secret. I've not recorded it yet, and I will be saying it on there, so I won't say it. I did,
in the interest of fairness.
I did say on Saturday's episode who I thought at the time. I can't even remember who I said now, but it's probably changed since then. Changes on the daily. But to what you said, Clark, I do agree. I do agree with the look, listen, if there's no other choice but to have the champ take the L, then yeah, it is what it is. But there is other choices. Like for me, I mean, Bianca and Tiffany could have main evented, that could have worked. But it is what it is. Bianca is a champion as well. That was why I kind of gave it I let it off, just because Bianca is a tag champ, and it wasn't a clean loss. So, however, I personally would have booked it slightly different. I would have actually had Bianca take the loss and everything play out the same way that it did, but it backfire on Bailey. So when Bailey tries to help Nia, it actually backfires, and maybe Bianca gets disqualified and then Nia gets the win or something like that. So it's like, at that point, is Bailey doing the right thing? Are her motives in the right place? Or is she the one that took out Jade and it's more of a play in that direction? I don't know. I kind of would have liked that. And again, you would have saved having to have your champ take the pin, but it is what it is. I think it's still up in the air about how Bianca feels about Bailey. I don't think it was necessarily either of them. You know what? As well, I'm not going to say a name.
Oh, he's
He's
gonna come back
We
again.
haven't seen. It could be somebody that we haven't seen in a while.
Wait, hang on, you froze.
Yeah, start again.
You're not gonna say a name.
Right? No, right.
So
I'm not
sounded
going.
like you didn't say a name.
Right. So all I'm saying is it could be somebody that we've not seen in a while. I feel like people there's a few names right now that are absent without leave, and it could be one of them.
I will say this.
Carmella.
Alexa Bliss, Carmella. I don't know who else.
I will say this though. If it is Bailey, a little ding dong hello, of course it was me promo. Talk to me now. I'm cool with that. Little ding dong hello. Of course it was me.
It could be somebody that no one's ready for as well, that we've not seen in a while.
I mean, there's Charlotte. There's choices. Asuka. Yeah, nobody's ready for Asuka.
There's so many people who it actually could be. It's like who shot Mr. Burns?
Yeah. DC Warlord said, "What if it was Braun Breaker?" No, it's not Braun Breaker.
Becky Lynch.
I can confirm it's not Braun Breaker. And then Sean Ellis asked if Hikuleo is going to debut on Survivor Series, and I'll say this.
I mean,
we're spoiler free over here at WR, but maybe. I don't know. You never know with this bloodline stuff. It's in the cards. It's possible.
Yeah, I don't know.
What were you going to say though, Chaos?
No, I was just going to say, obviously DC Warlord said it. What if it was Braun Breaker? I mean, he does have history of vehicular assault, so
that's true.
You know, you can't write him off completely. You never know. He might be just a crazy dude that likes to attack tall women. I don't know. I'm rubbish. I'm chatting rubbish. Ignore me.
AJ Miller added that he heard Becky's coming back to WWE soon, and he said you'd think that Jade Cargill would turn heel instead of Bianca. Maybe on paper, but
I think she could.
I don't know that either one is.
I think Jade might come back and suspect Bianca. I don't think we'll even find out who it was until after Jade's been back for a little bit. I think
after the fact. I would actually be cool with that, Jordy. That is a really outstanding call. And I like it a lot. I mean, I will say though, we could probably talk about this the rest of the day, but that's going to bring us to the end of the show, my friends. Thank you everybody that tuned in. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you already haven't. Like it, do all that. It helps us out a ton and we appreciate it a ton. We'll be back same time, same place. That's noon Pacific. That's 3 in the East, 8 o'clock in the UK, of course, 9 a.m. in Hawaii every single day this week, except Thursday. Thanksgiving special. Me and Shoddy will be a little bit earlier, although it'll be probably taped. So it actually might come out at the same time.
Watch out for spoilers.
Sure. We'll keep y'all posted on that one. But yeah, check out Take It to the Table. Obviously, that's going to be recorded next week. No spoilers here except for that one. It's going to be recorded. We didn't say what was going to be said. But make sure you check that out as soon as it releases. And of course, the most recent episode that Chaos mentioned earlier. Check out everything else on WR as well. We've got Off the Air tonight. That's going to be at 7 Pacific. That's going to be 10 in the East. That's in the middle of the night for y'all in the UK. And of course, 4 in Hawaii. But once again, thank you for tuning in on behalf of me, Clark Taylor, Jordy, and Chaos. Have an excellent Tuesday afternoon. And we will talk to y'all soon.